For some people, they become rich and famous after doing one role in a movie, but for others, they have to do background acting or some other jobs on the sets in order to become famous later on in their careers. So here's a list of some Tamil cinema people that became big and famous later on, but did small roles in movies or did other jobs on film sets before they became big stars. And stay for the end of this video for a little message. Galaxy Star, as some of his fans call him affectionately. But Vimal actually was a background actor in some movies before he became famous from movies like Kalavani and Pasanga. Now, Gilli was one of the movies that Vimal was in. And if you notice, in certain scenes, he's like amongst Vijay's friends in the movie. Before S.J. Surya became a big director and eventual big star, he did assistant directing work for films like Kilakachi Maile, which he appeared in a small cameo. Now, his story is very inspiring. If you really want to know all the struggles and all the hardships that he's went through, there's a very good interview that he did with Bharat Vajrangan way back in 2017 or 2018, around the time that Monster was in production. And yeah, he waited tables and did a lot of stuff before and even during his height of fame because he believed in becoming a true actor rather than relying on his directing skills. And yeah, watch that interview because his story is very inspiring. Before Jay broke out and made a name for himself through films like Chennai 6/28 and also Subramaniapuram, he did the role of Vijay's younger brother in the film Bhagavati. He took a 5-year break from that film till Chennai 6/28, and he wanted to do music but then ended up going back into acting just for the sake of it, just to try out if he can make it, and he ended up making a name for himself, so good for him. Before Trisha became one of the biggest actresses in Tamil cinema history, she did a walk-on role in the film Jodi. Now, she played one of Simran's friends in the film, and this is way before Maunam Pesiyade and her other films back in the early 2000s. It's kind of cool to see Trisha before she became, Trisha. Vijay Sethupathi is probably one of the most inspiring actors of his generation because of the struggle and because of all the background work that he did before becoming famous. And he was in films like Nan Mahanalla and also Pulladavan. He was also in M. Kumaran Sana Mahalakshmi and also did some supporting roles in films like Bale Pandya, and finally became, obviously, the actor that he is today. So yeah, he is the definition of perseverance. It's kind of cool to revisit Dam Dum because actually Sai Pallavi was one of the background actors in the film. I forgot her character's role in the movie because I haven't seen the movie in so long. But if you want to revisit the film and try to see where Sai Pallavi is, be my guest. And it's really cool to see such a talented performer just being in the background in this movie. Aditi Balan, who became famous for the film Aravi, actually had a background acting role in the film Yenne Arindal. She was one of Trisha's Bharatanatyam students in the film. Before Suri became one of the most beloved actors of today, he was a background actor and also set person on many films for the early 2000s and mid 2000s. He became very famous obviously through Vanilla Kabadikulu and other films in the late 2000s and also 2010s. And it's nice to see that a person who struggled so much, gaining so much respect and fame later on in his career. And one of the most beloved people in Tamil cinema today is VTV Ganesh. And before VTV Ganesh became VTV Ganesh, he was in films like Red, Pachikili Muttacharam, and also Varanamayaram. So he was working with Gautam Menon extensively, and because of his unique voice and everything, Simbu and many others asked if he can do the role in VTV, and obviously through that film became VTV Ganesh rather than just Ganesh. Before becoming one of the premier supporting actors of his generation, Bobby Simha was in films like Kadalil Sodapadayappadi and other movies in a background role or in cameo roles as well. And he was also a short film actor, and literally 2 years after Kadalil Sodapadayappadi, he became a National Film Award winner for his role in Jigardanda. So pretty good growth for Bobby Simha. Before Gautam Menon became Gautam Menon, he was an assistant director to such directors like Rajiv Menon, and he actually appeared in the movie Minsara Kanvu, where he appears in this crowd shot, and he actually has a line in the film too. So yeah, that movie came out in 97, and Minnale came out in 2001, so for 4 years he had to struggle to get his first movie, and from there on, he became Gautam Menon. Now, even though Egan was not the debut film for Sivakarthikeyan, due to editing reasons, they cut out all of his scenes from the film, he actually got a really good life lesson through this movie. So yeah, he was devastated because his scenes were not in the final cut. And apparently Ajit Kumar called him over to his house and told him that, hey, this is how the business works. And sadly, you know, this is not just a roadblock in your career, because he knew how talented he was because of Kalikapo Diyara and all the mimicry and all the hosting that he did. And, you know, Sivakarthikeyan thought, you know, he was not going to be acting in any more films anymore. But Ajit Kumar said, you know, keep your head up and, you know, learn from my like past experiences and just keep on moving forward. And ironically, even though he didn't get the small role in Egan, later on he became a lead actor. And through that lead acting role he got in Marina, he ended up becoming one of the biggest actors of his generation. So, you know, one small dejection ended up becoming a huge blessing in disguise for him later on. So if you stuck around for the end of this video, here is a little message for you. I know a lot of you are trying to break it into, you know, your respective industries. Maybe it's not even the entertainment industry. Maybe it's like you want to become a doctor, you want to become a lawyer, you want to become a teacher, you want to become an athlete, you want to become a politician, so on and so forth. Whatever you want to become, there's going to be some sort of roadblocks. There's going to be rejections. There's going to be some failures. There's going to be some stuff that you have to deal with before you become successful or you become famous or rich or whatever. Remember, every single person that's ever made it in life has always gone through some sort of negativity, some sort of failure, some sort of bad things in life before they achieved whatever they achieved. I've read a lot of autobiographies. I've watched a lot of interviews, not just of entertainment people, but of everyone in general. And there's always a common thread. Everyone has gone through so much obstacles and so much turmoil and so much like mountainous like peaks in terms of like, you know, you're going up and then you're going down, you're going up and then you're going down in terms of like success or failure. But the one thing that they always said is never ever give up. Michael Jordan never made it onto his first basketball team. Ended up becoming one of the greatest, if not the greatest athlete of all time. Steve Jobs was fired from the thing that he created, Apple, and got rehired by Apple. You know, the guy who, the Colonel who made KFC, he was selling door to door, like his like recipe, like of the chicken that he made. He was selling it door to door and only became rich and famous and successful in his later years. You know, there are so much stories like that. And there's so much, you know, commonalities, if that's a word, through all these stories. Everyone persisted and ended up becoming something in their lives. And all these people that I listed in this video, they all had to struggle. They all had to go through these hardships. A lot of them, even during their success, went through some sort of hardships, rejections, failures, whatever you want to call it. But the one thing that they never did was giving up. And I will say this before I end this video. You know, all of these people were in the picture. That's why they got seen. So if you want to make it, just make sure that you're in the picture. Just make sure you're in the door. As long as you get in the door, as long as you get into the building, as long as you get into that section in life where you can possibly make it even more progression in your life. As long as you're in that picture, you can be able to be seen. If you're not in the picture, you're not going to be seen. So if you want to make it in life, if you want to make some sort of achievement happen, if you want to, you know, make the snowball rolling, you got to just push that snowball down the hill. You got to get in that picture. You got to get your foot in the door. Because if you don't, it's really hard to make it. I believe in all of you. I hope you all make it successfully in whatever you want to do. And I shall see you in the next video. Take care.